Easy question, why do we heat with wood, not gas or oil? Take out gas because there is no gas in rural properties. The majority of rural properties, in Scotland anyway, will not come with gas. That you know it, as in the city. They're mainly oil heated. I would estimate, 95% of them are going to be oil heated, and only a few of them will have the ability to heat with wood in the way that we are. Now, the main reason that we're heating with wood is financial. Oil, to heat with oil, is about 350, on average, about 300 to 350 pounds a month. That's to heat with oil. And that will fire up your radiator, that will fire up your hot water. That's what we mean to heat with oil. To heat with wood is a lot cheaper. It seems to be a lot more efficient, and it's a lot cheaper. I think, as we had said before, when we collected the wood, the big bag, the ton bag of wood, it's about £40 for that bag, and that bag will last for approximately about a week. So you can average out 4, 8, 12, 16. So it's about £160 will heat your house for a month. That's heating, as in radiators, and that's also hot water, versus about £350 to do the same thing with oil. So that's the main reason why we have chosen to heat our house with wood. Now, let me just say, not all properties that have these wood burners that's burning the wood, not all properties have what's called a back boiler. The majority of properties that we've rented do have wood burners, but they don't have back boilers. Back boiler gives you the opportunity to use the heat that's being produced in the unit. And there are two pipes that are just in the back here. We'll do a close-up in a minute, but there's two pipes in the back here that allow cold water in, I think it's at the bottom, and then because heat rises, as that cold water is getting heated up inside this unit, because it has a jacket in there, the hot water then gets siphoned up to a tank, and once the tank is full with hot water, then it gets used for the radiators. So this system is a wood burning stove with a back boiler. That means that we can, thank the Lord, heat our property with wood. Now, if you are blessed and the Lord has shown you a property, taken you to a property which not only has the wood burner but also has a back boiler, and you say to yourself, yeah, I really would like to heat with wood, you've got, I would say, two options. The first option is, like ourselves, you can find any wood processing company that will sell you a bag of wood, ton bag of wood, for about £40 to £50 for softwood, and I don't know, it's probably about double that for hardwood, because hardwood burns longer. We'll get into that later on. However, you do have another option, and that is to find as many outlets as you can where you can get wood for free. Now, that might mean going to a industrial estate, and they have lots of pallets, crates, things like that. And if you ask them, they probably will give you them free. I've done that many a times. We're blessed in that at our local church, we have a good friend of ours who's actually a tree surgeon, and he regularly brings us lots of free wood. Once he's done a job at somebody's house, they've got, they felled a tree, it was dead, whatever, blah, 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 and they've got this wood left over, so it's all chopped up into, big size chunks, and he'll just drop it up to us, and then we'll process it, as in chop it down even smaller with the chainsaw, and then we'll actually chop it into sections with an axe, and then we'll stack that, and we'll use that as our free wood supply. Having said that, just to say, if the wood is dead and it's been dead for a long time, you can burn it straight away. But if the wood is still green or wet, you can't really burn that. You can, but you could probably damage your chimney and cause a house fire. So we wouldn't do that. You then stack the wood. If it's softwood, you'll stack it for like 6 months or something like that. If it's hardwood, probably going to be best part of the year. So you've got to have somewhere where you can stack it, where there's lots of air flowing, where it's dry, and then, as I said, 6 months to a year, then you're ready to use that, and that's free wood to heat your house. Okay, so when you're thinking about making the move from the city to a country location, you're going to have to take into account that things are going to be different, especially when we're just talking about utilities, heating your home. I remember, I think on average, we were paying about maybe £50–60 a month for our gas. That seemed quite reasonable. I'm not sure what it is now. But as I said, moving here to the country, we noticed straight away that the bill for heating with oil was about, on average, about £300, which is a big jump. But that's just the reality of the new environment. There are some things that obviously are going to be pluses, and there's some things that you can probably see as negatives. However, there is a way to negate that overall inflation of price, and another video will show you where we make a lot of savings. Our lifestyle is one of frugality. So the savings that we make, even if we are having to pay for oil, 300 and something pounds a month, it's really not a big deal. So don't be put off by that. There's ways of, as I said, balancing things so that you're not having to really worry about the oil bill. Now, also bear in mind that when you move into your country property, and if it is being heated by oil, they do have, the oil companies, they do have budget plans. So they have like monthly plans. So you don't have to pay everything up front, but they can split up the payments over the month, as it were, which makes it quite comfortable. So it's not for anybody to be put off. God will find a way, and if he has provided you with a property, then he will again make sure that you have all the necessary means to make sure you can stay in that property. But we're just saying it as a heads up, because for us, when we moved in, we didn't fully understand things. I remember the first one or two properties that we were in, they were heated by oil. We would have the oil on, the heating on all the time, you know, as you would do, you know, back in the city. And it's only when the bill came, then we were like, oh, that's probably not too feasible. By then it was a bit too late. So budget plans are probably the best way to go. The other thing to remember, which is really good, is when you move in to your country property, and if it is heated by oil, and you've spoken to an oil company who's going to deliver, bear in mind that the first delivery, which the minimum delivery that any oil company will do, is about 500 litres of oil, which is good because that will last you for round about a month. That delivery of oil, you'll have to pay up front. Once you've paid up front, then, as I was mentioning before, the oil companies are more than happy to set up the monthly budget plans where you can then stagger your payments throughout the year. I did mention about gas, and I said that you don't really get gas as you would know it to rural properties, but you can get gas. It's LPG gas, so it's not the normal gas that you would get in a normal city property, but it's you have in some rural properties, you have a gas tank, which, I don't know, holds 500 litres, 1,000 litres, whatever. And this gas tank holds LPG gas. So again, if you've got that system, a truck would come around and pump the LPG in. So you can get gas, but it's a completely different thing. And as far as I'm aware, because we've never rented a property with LPG gas, but as far as I'm aware, LPG gas is about the same price as oil. So you're not losing or gaining anything, but I just wanted to say, so you can get gas, but it's LPG gas. Okay, let me speak to you about the benefits, many benefits of heating with, oil, heating with wood. If the Lord has blessed and has found you a property that not only has the wood burning stove, but also the back boiler so that you can heat the whole house, and you say to yourself, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. I think one of the first things is when you are burning wood, you have the nostalgia. It's just nice to walk into a room and the fire's on, you have the smell of the pine or whatever wood that you've got burning, especially in the evening when it's dark and you've got the flames flickering and it's just quiet. You know, maybe you've just had family worship, you've put the kids to bed, the fire's on, and you and your other half, you know, you're just in the room. It's just really nice. There's just something, you just can't put your finger on it. It's just really, really nice. The other benefit is physically, because when you've got your wood for free and you now have to process it, you've got to chop it and stack it yourself. Now, for those of you who've chopped wood before, it's not a big deal. But for those of you who haven't, it's quite a workout. I find it a good strenuous workout, having to lift that axe, chop that wood, which can take a number of hours, but it's good exercise. And then you've got to stack that, put it wherever it is you're going to put it, and then stack it. It's a good workout. We've found whenever friends come round and they have an opportunity to take part in processing the wood, whenever we've got free wood and we use the chainsaw and then we use the axe and we have to chop, everybody loves it. From young to old, it's really great. It's a good workout. You're in the fresh air, you're in nature, and then after that, getting to see the proceeds of being able to use that wood and then feeding it into your burner, and then knowing that it's heating the radiators, and to know that you've actually got free heating. Praise the Lord. So the plan now is I'm just going to restack the wood burner. It's just running a little bit low, and get that all going. And as I said, that will then feed through to the pipes in the back, which will then go to the radiators. Now, I don't know if there's a particular way of stacking that works, best, but this is the way that I stack. Some people lie the bits of wood across, but I've been told lying them this way is better. Not quite sure why, but that's what I do. And we just, as much as possible, keep that quite full. Maybe one more. Get that in. Let's see. No. I think that's going to be it. So you can already see everything has caught quite well there. Now you'll notice all wood burners, they're the same, but they have slightly different features. Now the thing to notice is this here, which is all about airflow, and then down here, this section here is where the ash, I'll show you. Down here is where the ash is collected, but also it's another opportunity for air to flow through. The more air that's flowing through, the more, as you can see, the flame, it's firing through, which is really nice. That's how you really want it to get started. But once it's started, you don't want all that air going through, because that will mean that your wood is going to burn through very, very quickly. The way we have this system, when it's all set and we've closed the door, it will burn this wood, and it will take about 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours before it's all burnt down. But if we had the system with the airflow at the top open and the airflow at the bottom a little bit opened, this wood will burn through in an hour. And so that's not really economical. That's how we used to burn wood when we first came to Scotland, rural Scotland, because we didn't know anything. I'd never lit a fire in my life. So we would have the fire roaring. This unit would be shaking. That's how it was. And I remember some friends of ours came around and they were like, how come you're going through so much wood? And it's only when they saw what we were doing, and then they showed us the correct method. So I'm going to close that up completely, and then go close that up completely, and that's good. As I said, I will leave this open just for a little bit once I see that's all caught, and then I will close that down. And as I said, that will be good for another 3.5 hours. Yeah, now just to show you what it's like when you put more air through, I can open the bottom a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can hear. You can hear the wind coming through there. And so what will happen in a few minutes is all inside here will be very, very yellow, very, very orange, because the flames are all over the place. But as I said, that's not a good thing. It's good if you want to burn your wood very, very quickly, but if you want the wood to last a long time, then it's best to have that banked down. Now, if the Lord has blessed and you're able to move to the country, you sold your property, and so you don't need to rent, you can actually buy a property and you found it. In our estimation, one of the best ways for you to heat your property would actually be with a biomass system. Now, our friend Peter, who supplies us with the wood that you see behind us, he has a biomass system installed, and one of the vlogs we're actually speaking to him, and he explains all about the system, how it works, the benefits, installation, blah blah blah. So just look out for that vlog on the biomass system. So whether your country property heats with oil, or whether it heats with wood, or whether it heats with LPG gas, that's not really the main concern. The main concern is you have to ask yourself a question. If God is leading me to a country property, then what am I going to do? Am I going to move forward by faith? And the answer is yes, of course, we should move forward by faith. And when we move forward by faith, we claim one of the promises, and those promises, one of them is that God will supply all of our needs. And if he moves you to a house that heats with oil, praise the Lord. If it heats with wood, praise the Lord. And if it heats with LPG, praise the Lord. Keep moving forward in faith, and God will supply all of your needs. So that was a lot of information that we just went through. How to heat your house with wood, pros and cons, oil, gas, and all the rest of it. But if you found it interesting, please subscribe to our channel, like the channel, and also share with your friends. If you found it also interesting, please make a comment. There might be other things that you wanted to find out about. We'd be happy to assist you.